Hey everybody, welcome into Warp Factor 10, our show about all things Star Trek here on the Arena Productions. I'm your host Expat, and another recap and review episode of Star Trek Lower Decks, Season 4, Episode 8, titled Caves. And I just want to let all of you know before we move on here, this is a spoiler-filled episode. I'm going to be going through a lot of the points of the episode, and there's going to be a lot of spoilers. So if you have not watched the episode yet, please go to Paramount Plus, watch the episode, and then come back and enjoy this video. So there's going to be spoilers throughout. So that's your spoiler warning. So let's go ahead and jump into it. Now, we get to the planet Grodnus, which is better than researching moss. I mean, they're researching moss in a cave. So this whole episode has a lot to do with caves. So the four are back together, and they're on a research mission again. As, of course, newly promoted lieutenant junior grades to start this episode. The Mariner says, it's funny how she says, nothing ever good comes from a cave mission. So it's interesting. Throughout this episode, you see so many different scenarios here. Then come Tremors and a cave in. And I love how she rips Boimler for referring to the cave as being peaceful, quiet, and with the right amount of moist. And then the moss reacts to Mariner's tantrum as it begins to glow after she kicks some of it. And it turns out that the moss is carnivorous. So it keeps growing and they're unable to really stop it. But Boimler brings up this time when he was stuck in a cave on Chiron 4 with Lieutenant Levy. And Levy and his conspiracy theories, I thought they were so funny. So while on the survey of dilithium, and there's an ion storm that comes in out of nowhere, and Levy thinks that communications are rigged and Vendorian shapeshifters are setting them up. And so like there's this sense of Vendorian morality. Levy destroys a one-seat transport all-terrain vehicle, seemingly left behind on a previous away mission, justifying what he did as a classic Vendorian morality test. And then I love Boimler just gets so pissed off at him, and I just love how he just rips him. He just destroys Levy, ripping him for being stuck at the same rank for the past 10 years. He's like, you're insufferable. Wolf 359 was a tragedy. Q exists. Picard isn't some hologram, and Voyager's EMH is. Yeah. So everyone benefits from them being stuck in the cave because they don't have to deal with Levy. I just loved it. And I love the shout outs to Star Trek The Next Generation, Q, and Voyager in this episode. And Boiler had some guts to just destroy a superior officer for being a conspiracy theory freak. So Levy almost starts to cry and says he was just trying to help. And then, boom, if that wasn't enough, Vendorians actually pop up and say that they failed the morality test due to their cruelty, which makes Levy feel vindicated. I knew it! So the Vendorians, they conclude that rather than work together to escape, Boimler and Levy have chosen to denigrate and bicker, so they shall be punished. And they're thrown into this large pit. However, they become intrigued by Levy's so-called knowledge he's picked up on subspace forums where like-minded people share information and are treated to what look like giant crickets to feast upon, and Boimler looks like he's about to puke. But Boimler still thinks Levy is a crackpot with dangerous beliefs, kind of making fun of the current situation with regards to certain people within the political spectrum, which, I thought that was the kind of the point of the writers, what they wanted to get across in this episode. So in that regard with Levy. But, so the two of them, they're starting to soften up with one another in the spur of the moment. And then the Vendorians conclude that enemies have now become friends. Our morality gambit worked. So then they're set free, and the Vendorians had taught Boimler how to use Gammonite to boost comm signals so that the Cerritos could beam them out. So that's Boimler's story. And then we get back to the current cave dilemma, and Tendi says, and this sums up the entire episode, sometimes being stuck together can lead to surprising conversations. I mean, that's exactly, what this episode is about: being stuck together and learning things about one another. And so we get Rutherford and his situation. So we get to the cave where Rutherford and Dr. Tana have a cave baby by procreating through dermal contact on Balcus 9, which surprised the hell out of Tindy and Mariner and everyone. So it's funny how Rutherford becomes pregnant within seconds. And like the doctor just lasers him open to extract the baby while Rutherford's biting down on his boot. I thought that was hilarious. And the doctor's like, the thing I hate more than engineers are babies. But she comes to like the baby, for the amount of time they spend stuck in the cave. But Rutherford uses his tricorder to communicate with the monster that was protecting her own baby in the pool they were initially researching, and gets it to lead them out of the cave. So, and then we get to Mariner and her story with Delta Shift on the planet Glish. So you get these bitemporal fluctuations, and crew member he's got like a compound fracture of the leg. And complaining about how Delta Shift sucks, as Mariner and the one other crew member are trying to rush through this bitemporal fluctuation. They're growing into old women and are about to die of old age. I thought that was just hilarious as well. And then they send Osif with the broken leg. He's like this child prodigy or whatever through the bitemporal fluctuation, and his leg heals wrong, and then it falls off. It's like, oh. And then another crew member finds Pergium that makes him reverse age into a child, and then they're able to get out of the cave, minus a crew member's leg, of course, Osif's leg, which Mariner says the doc can grow a new one for him. She just doesn't want to grow old again because the leg was stuck in the bitemporal fluctuation. So then we go back to the present again, and I liked in this episode how they go, to the past, to these cave situations, and then to the present in their current situation. So, but they're all bickering with each other for not telling each other about their experiences in their respective caves, as the moss is about to envelop them, right? But however, the Trigammonite, they're trying to call the Cerritos, but then they're apprehended by the moss, telling them they can't leave until they hear Tindy's story, the green ones. Sorry, and it's interesting how the parallel, Tindy is of course green, and so the moss is also green. So they want to hear the green ones turbo lift story. So not in a cave, but in a turbo lift. So Tindy's story it's funny. The first day on the Cerritos for her, she goes into a drinking party with Mariner and Boimler and Rutherford with real alcohol, not synthahol. And then they enter the turbo lift, but then the power goes out and they're stuck. 2 hours, they're throwing clothes at each other. 3 hours, they're playing guessing games. 4 hours later, they're like peeing in the corner and lying down and sharing their feelings with one another. Falling asleep, then Shax jumps in to save them. But friendship, no matter what the circumstances in this episode. I mean, and at the end, the Moss wants a friend and wants to hear more of their cave stories. And then you get the Vindorians again, and they pop up at the end to proclaim it appears that the junior officers have rekindled their friendship by not allowing their new responsibilities to destroy what's truly important. So another morality test passed, and the Vindorians allow them to enjoy the moment before setting them free, which ends the episode. So yeah, I really, really love this episode. So not allowing new responsibilities to destroy what's truly important, which is their friendship. Friendship, no matter what the circumstances. And I love how Tindy, earlier in the episode, she's like, sometimes being stuck together can lead to surprising conversations. So yeah, I really loved that part of the episode where, they're learning about each other even more. So anyway, yeah, another great episode, but we got 2 more episodes left in this season, and the mystery ship has to come into play either next week or the week after. So I'm starting to wonder about the pacing now. They got to get to the nitty gritty of this mystery ship. But anyway, Let us know what you thought of the episode in the comments. And if you like this episode, please be sure to hit that like, subscribe, and notification bell for when we drop another episode of Warp Factor 10, our show about all things Star Trek here on the Arena Productions. And we hope you have a great week, and we look forward to another recap and review next week of Star Trek Lower Decks. So anyway, I've been Expat, and take care, everybody. Live long and prosper. We hope to catch you next week. Peace.